Welcome to episode 2 of this Let's Play of Spelunky. I'm Psychedelic Eyeball. Now that we've done the tutorial, we won't have to go through as many hoops in order to get started, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right to the business. In this one playthrough, we're just gonna make sure that we're on the safe wavelength, and we're just gonna reintroduce all of the things that we've seen into the first video that we might have forgotten about ever since, because it definitely takes some time in order to finally get used to your bearings in this game. Whenever you have a long drop to do like that, it's always a good idea to flip Aang from the ledge, because this will ensure that you won't take any fall damage, and finally it will make it so that you won't have to use a rope most of the time. Now, just to the right of us is a bat. They start flying at you whenever you get close to them, and they're really persistent, as in they will never stop chasing you until they're either dead or until you've exited the level. But there are some other times where they'll simply be stuck on a wall or some part of the geometry and they won't be able to come after you, so use their dumbness to your advantage. Now, putting a bomb right here is a terrible idea, because if there's a solid gray block 2 squares away from where you put the bomb, the blast radius won't be strong enough to affect it, but normally, if you put a bomb through a wall right next to a wall, you will be able to destroy it through 2 blocks. But sometime, whenever there's a huge obstacle in the way, or something like a damsel or something, this will make it so that the bomb will not blow it off automatically. And I'll be hit for level 1. Usually, level 1-1 is pretty easy, because compared to most other places in the game, the mines do introduce the obstacles a little bit more gradually. The first level will always have nothing but spikes, arrow traps like these ones that you need to bring an item in front of them to make them shoot, because otherwise you're simply gonna take an arrow to the face and these deal 2 damage, which is really not good news. But other than that, the only enemies that you will see in level 1-1 will be snakes, spiders, and bats. You won't meet the spinner spiders until this... okay, what the hell happened there? I'm not really sure. I mean, in this game you are able to bounce higher when you stomp enemies whenever you hold the jump button as you're stomping them, just like in the Mario games, but normally you're not supposed to jump that high, or at least you need the spring shoes in order to be able to do this. And if we exclude the tutorial, this is our first shop in the game, but first of all, we're just gonna clean the place about, and we're gonna show that we can pick up rats if you want. So all items will always be randomly generated, and there's different types of stores that you will find through the game. This one's a weapon shop. Usually you will find weapons as well then bombs. And right here, I'm gonna pick up this weapon, which is the freeze ray. It usually is rather costly, but it's always worth it. It's essentially a short-range weapon that shoots freezing rays at enemies, and the moment that you hit them, they get frozen to death, and you can simply kill them with 1 hit of anything. And it's also really good for damaging harder or tougher enemies that normally you would have a hard time defeating. The only thing that you need to be careful with this weapon is that it has a slight recoil whenever you shoot it. So you always gotta make sure so that whenever you shoot it, you won't end up bouncing back into a pit of spikes or somewhere else that you definitely won't want to go. The only bad thing about all of this is that whenever you start having several items to juggle with all like that, the game just becomes some sort of micromanagement sim where you must make sure that all of your items are at the places that you... Oh, okay, so we have a new enemy here, which are the skeletons. These are pretty much the stealth enemies of this game, and they pretty much live up to their name. They're just like the regular corpses that you will see all over the place, except they will come to life the second that you come close to them. Okay, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna be fine with this. I mean, what could happen wrong? Yeah, this is what happens wrong, because if you take too much time beating a level, this giant ghost, which is impervious to any of your attacks, which flies through walls slowly but steadily, will come after you, and if he hits you, by the way, you die instantly. So the ghost is not a matter to be trifled with. The ghost will spawn after 2.5 minutes in a level, so you can't afford to slack around, you gotta keep moving. So yeah, the spider will normally take us 10 hits with our whip in order to kill it, but with the freeze ray, you can kill it in only 1. And right here we have a cobra. They are exactly like snakes, except that they will randomly spit poison as they stroll back and forth on their platform. So here we have a special item shop, which usually will feature rarer items that usually are pretty valuable. This one jetpack is especially tempting, but right now I don't have the money to buy it. So we're just gonna go and skirt the place in order to find some more money in order for me to buy it. Of course, I could also steal it, but at this point in the thread, I'm not really interested in robbing the shopkeeper yet. I mean, all that I need to do in order to get the jetpack legitimately is, well, to pretty much go here. Here we go, we have enough money for the jetpack, but we might as well keep on going because I'm pretty sure we can find some more over here. And yeah, this is the one fucked up part of this game at time. I have no clue how the damsels managed to get themselves into this situation because she somehow managed to cave herself into this one tiny alcove from which there is no exit or entry, so I think you have some explaining to do whenever I'll come and save you. Okay, unfortunately we could not buy the compass as well. The compass is also pretty useful because it allows you to point exactly where the exit is, which will be very useful later on in the game, but right now we have the jetpack, which is hands down the most awesome item in the game. Once you have the jetpack, you have no excuse to fully explore every single bit of the level because this is what the jetpack is good for. It simply allows you to go everywhere that you want with little to no effort. You have a limited amount of fuel in your jetpack, but every time that you land on the ground, it gets refilled instantly, and for the most part, you pretty much could scale an entire level up with only 2 full jetpack supplies. So as long as you have 1 platform at least in order to land and refuel all of your jetpack, you still will be okay. And yeah, those kisses are not for show because whenever you save a damsel, you will gain 1 extra hit point for the next level. So yeah, these barrels can be pretty sneaky because they're filled with explosives, and the moment anything hit them, they will just explode violently all over the place, and just random debris will be enough to set them up so that they will explode. So they can be very treacherous obstacles because at some point you will simply whip an enemy, but the blood will fall on the crate, and somehow this will make the crate explode on your face and make it so that you pretty much instantly die. I mean, you won't instantly die, but you will take 10 damage, which at this point in the game, it's pretty much instant death, or okay, in fact, for pretty much any point in the game, 10 damage is an instant death, because unless you do really well or do some very specific action, you will rarely have 10 hit points in this game ever. Uh-oh, we gotta save the damsel from the trap. Whew, trap averted. This is always one of those thrilling moments in the game, even though that the damsel will be able to survive an arrow trap in the face, but she won't be able to take 2. And yeah, those snakes will pretty much make you bounce all over the place with their spit. Okay, I'm not too sure how I managed to stun the enemy, but I'll take it. Also, you better beware of cobras, because even though for the most part they're not very threatening, they may end up permanently stalking you over and over again with their spits. And we have the scorpion here, the first enemy that we've met that have more than 1 hit point, okay, bearing the giant spiders obviously, and they have a pretty vicious attack, but as you've seen, if you stand up close to them, it's pretty easy to avoid, but whenever you're at a rather long range from them, they can be pretty menacing. And we have the Caveman, which are the standard mid-range enemy in the game. And yeah, you can see why I'm telling you to be very careful of arrow traps, because even when it's just bouncing against the wall, it can still damage you, so you gotta be careful. All in all, I'm really not liking the situation that I'm at right now. I better finish this level really quick before something bad happens. Oh, god damn it, why did I get too close to that one jar? So, what lesson did we learn with this one playthrough? Well, we've learned that we must not stand close to jars whenever you whip them because you never know whenever an enemy will be inside it and will just end up ruining your day like it just did. So, I guess we're gonna have to try it again in order to see if we can get past the mines. In the next video.